a bit of a maze, awkward doors, so bear with me. But I always like to ask before I start the presentation is, what do you guys know about Hope Harbor? What's the first thing that pops in your mind when you hear about Hope Harbor? Women's shelter? Mm-hmm. Safety? Okay. One more? Resources? Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I love that because usually what we get is women's shelter, just homeless shelter, things like that. And hopefully by the end of this tour, you guys will take away that we're more than just a shelter and we serve more than just women. And part of that is the resources that we have in our community assistance program. So Hope Harbor actually started in 1994. It was originally known as the Community Humanitarian Resource Center, or CHRC, and it started in 1994. So we've been in here for over 30 years or so. We became a partner agency with Heartland United Way in '98. We changed our name from CHRC to Hope Harbor. It was actually, I found archives from cleaning out years and years of the marketing coordinator's closet of newspaper clippings, and it was actually a competition to get new name suggestions, and Hope Harbor won. And then we moved to our current location in 2007. We originally had a shelter in a house. Oh, sorry. We actually started as a voucher program. It was initially started by clergy and religious organizations that noticed that we were having homelessness in Grand Island. And so it started as a food voucher program and a hotel voucher program. And then it increased to include a gas voucher program. And then we had that shelter at that house. And then in 2016, we had this building, and then we purchased the building next door, the service center. And we had our first capital campaign then. In 2017, after the capital campaign, we were able to increase and remodel this building. So we used to have all the offices here and the emergency shelter and transitional shelter. Today, now it's just the shelter building, and our offices have moved to the service center, and that also then created our community assistance program. And then 2023, a couple years ago, we purchased the lots that are down there. There used to be like 3 houses there. That is now going to be our new project for Lighthouse Apartments. And last year, we were awarded $4.7 million to create this project. It's a $10 million project. Our amazing board and our executive director have been working really hard to get those grants and foundations. And so in the end, we'll be asking for, it'll be a public and private project, and we'll be asking the community for assistance with $2 million. And that's currently going on right now. Our 3 main shelter programs, or 3 main programs, are emergency shelter, transitional shelter, and the community assistance program. And so in our emergency shelter, which is the other side I'll show you guys, we have 26 beds and 5 units. Check-in is at 7 p.m. and that's 24/7. So that includes weekends, holidays, etc. And it's also staffed 24/7. So we have someone here from at all hours, making sure everybody is safe and okay, and they're checking both sides of the shelter. It is a short-term solution just for a safe place to spend the night. We work with them and meet them where they're at. If this is something that they just need for a few days before they find a different place to stay with a friend or family member or passing through, that works. But then if they also let us know that they're looking for something more, then our service coordinator meets with them and lets them know about our transitional shelter program and what all that entails. Because sometimes that may not be the best fit for them where they're at if they're ready for the capacity that is needed to be on this side. On this side in the transitional shelter, we have 78 beds and 29 units. We also offer case management, so residents meet with their case manager once a week. They're fine. They meet their case managers once a week, and that is the time that they talk about their goals, and we make sure to check in with them once a week to make sure that they're taking the steps that they need to get to those goals. Some of the goals can be reducing their debt, finding employment, getting custody of their children back, getting their birth certificate, whatever it may be their goal is, that's what helps them get there. And our case management offers support and resources and helps them kind of navigate that. It's a lot of paperwork sometimes, and on your own, it's very difficult. And so imagine having to worry about where you're staying for the day or for the for your time being. And so it's great to have that support system, because sometimes we see people come in here that have unfortunately burned bridges. And so our case management is kind of that backbone support for them as well. And then we also offer the life skills classes on this side. So the life skills classes include things like budgeting, nutrition, health, tenant education, different sorts of things that once they move out, they'll be able to use those skills to tie back into our mission, which is help and hope for a life of self-sufficiency. So with those tools, they'll have the parenting and communication skills to communicate healthy ways with their children and families, set boundaries. They'll have tenant education, so they know what a lease should look like, what is a fair lease. They'll have information on budgeting, and so they kind of practice what life will be like once they move out. The only difference would be then paying for rent or mortgage and utilities. In our shelters, we serve women, children, and families. So a lot of the misconceptions are sometimes that we are a shelter for domestic violence survivors, and we do see our fair share of victims and survivors here. If it's something where they need that privacy, if they're currently fleeing, we do recommend Willow Rising, but otherwise they're more than welcome here. We still serve them. But we also serve men. We do serve men if they're part of a family, and we consider a family being a couple, whether that is same-sex or opposite-sex couples, and if they are a single parent, so if it's a man with his children. If it is a single man, we unfortunately can't serve them, but there are other resources like Crossroads and formerly Salvation Army, hoping that will open back up sometime soon. The only other demographic we don't serve is those that are on the sex offender registry, just for safety reasons. But anybody that has a felony or things like that, they're more than welcome to get that fresh start. We have people that come in from treatment. We have people that come in directly from jail, etc. So we work with agencies and partner agencies to make sure people are safe. So if someone has a warrant or things like that, we work things with our partner agencies in the community as well. Some demographics that we see is, this is from last year's data, 389 unduplicated clients. So 103 of them were children, and that's pretty on par for our average statistics. We have 30 to 40% of our residents are children that call Hope Harbor home. We served 242 households, 54 of them were single parent households, and all 7 ethnicity categories were served, 79 listed as multiracial. Some trends that we saw were that 103 adults had a form of disability, whether that was physical or mental. 199 adults were survivors, so 70% of our residents have experienced some sort of domestic violence situation. And 255 make less than $20,000 a year, so 89% were at that poverty level. Some outputs we see in our shelter program is that we had bed nights of 22,000. And it was an increase of 389 from 2023. Is that laughing or crying? I hope it's laughing. Okay. Meals provided were almost 50,000. That was an increase of 495 from last year, or 2023. In case management, we provided nearly 2,000 case management meetings. So we're seeing an increase each year. It just keeps growing the need for our services. And the impacts that had was we had 45% of our clients exited to safe housing. 100% clients reported increased skills, and recidivism was down to 2%, meaning that they did not return to Hope Harbor or any other shelter in Nebraska. So the program is working. It's hard to see that only 45% have exited to stable housing, but that is the issue that we have in Nebraska right now. There's just not safe or affordable housing, and that's why we started our Lighthouse apartment projects. So we can help people move from emergency shelter to transitional shelter, and hopefully to that, regain their credit score, regain more tenant education, and then be able to move out and enter the regular market. For our community assistance program, it is at the service center. It's open to everyone. It's not just our residents, and that is open to men. Sometimes I get that question. That is open Monday to Friday, and that is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the services that we offer are food boxes, hygiene items, baby formula, furniture, household items, and type of gas vouchers as well, crane tickets, etc. So we have those different programs, and we just always like to say, like, a little bit of another mission statement is we meet people where they're at. So if ES is what works for them, we'll work with them there. If TS is what works with them, we'll meet with them there, get them on track, or community assistance program. Another little thing we like to say too is not only do we house people, but we want to help people stay housed as well. And if we can offset their groceries or their baby items, and that can help their paycheck spread for their mortgage or rent, then that's all we care about. And anything that we cannot do, we hate saying no, but we always work with our agency partners and resources and recommend them somewhere else that if we're not able to assist them, they can. Right now, we're in the transitional shelter side. Right now, we were hanging out in the living room. Residents are welcome to hang out there, watch TV, chat, communicate. Usually, once they are settled in, they don't stay in the rooms. This is where the hotspot is. They hang out, or they hang out here. This is the dining area. We have a sort of curfew at 6 p.m. Residents are to check in and line up. It's just kind of us checking in. How are you? Where are you? Are you still here? And then they're welcome to have communal dinner. And so we'll go check out the kitchen. This side they can stay in all day. They leave for employment, visit friends, family. Okay. They can get overnights if they have friends or family here. Okay. So this is our kitchen area. Residents are responsible for their breakfast and lunch. And then it is a chore to make dinner for everyone in the house. So that does rotate. We do, since it is a commercial kitchen, we do accept prepared foods. So if you have your kid's graduation party or office parties and there's quite a few food left over, feel free to drop it off. You'll be making the residents' day, whoever has that chore that day. And then we have these new stoves. They were donated by Ken's Appliance and McCain's, so that was really awesome. And then we'll sneak over this way. It's such an awkward maze. You just stood right there. I'm so sorry. We're going to sneak in here, and we can go down that way. I kind of will just tell you guys. We have a walk-in fridge and freezer. We work with different partners such as Hy-Vee, Super Saver, Starbucks. They donate their groceries or their produce. Starbucks gives their small items that we are able to use at the emergency shelter. Before this was, I only used to open the door and let people pop in because it used to be so full when I first started 5 years ago. I used to have to post that we have food boxes. In recent years, I've been posting that we need food to make food boxes. So the COVID really just shook things up, and we're still reeling from the effects of it. Pass that down. Emergency shelter side. And so that's where we're at right now. Some of them, you may have passed some open doors in there. So you can see it's kind of bunk bed style. The only difference with our transitional side, it's more of a dorm room style. So there's the sink, there's the dressers and things like that. Here we have little lockers that people can put their stuff in. This side is where they do stay only for the evening. They check out at 10 a.m. and we help them make a plan if that's going to McDonald's, going to the library, meeting with a friend. Sometimes we see people hang out at Pioneer Park, whatever it may be. If that's not something that works with them, again, we work with them to move over to the transitional shelter side. And that usually is about a week-long transition that they wait for. It's become a lot harder being full. Our transitional shelter site has seen residents that have stayed for 2 years. That family has now finally moved out, which we are so happy for them because they have been done. They have finished their classes. They saved their money. They found employment. But just housing was not an option for a big family. They're fine. So that has been an issue where usually the stay in transitional shelter was up to 9 months. On average, people were saying 3 to 6. So seeing year-long stays was very scary. And having to say no and turning people away for a place to stay was very uncomfortable. So then that leads us to the lot next door, and we're going to have those lighthouse apartment projects, and that's exciting because it'll be for those that are most in need. We won't be picking them. It'll be like NHMIS. It's a program that will say the person with the most need, and that can be people or families that are Section 8, experiencing some sort of mental health crisis or disability or physical disability as well.